A warm good morning to one and all of you. On behalf of the Department of Information Technology, Amal Jyoti College of Engineering, I welcome you all to the webinar series on careers and skills in IT paths to explore. The webinar series is aimed at creating a platform to discuss the various career options available in information technology and how to tune your skills and equip yourself to these career opportunities. So the first one in the series is about work study opportunities in Canada for ITCS graduates. As the highest sought after courses, computer science and information technology in Canada presents a stable job market for the graduates. So I proudly welcome our speakers for the session, Mr. Lalit Skaria and Mr. Gilson Thomas. Mr. Lalit is working as a data cloud developer in Morgan Stanley, Montreal, Canada for the past 1 year. After his graduation in information technology from Amal Jyoti College of Engineering, he worked as a systems engineer in TCS until April 2016. Then he took his master's in software engineering from Concordia University in 2018, during which he augmented his learning experience as a developer intern or part-timer in companies and as a teaching assistant in the university. He is Google Cloud Platform certified, well versed with the processing of big data and Apache, Hadoop, Spark technologies, and has significant work experience with Java, Python, Docker, Kubernetes, etc., to name a few. And Gilson Thomas, he is also our alumni. He has been a passionate web UI designer since his school days. He also graduated from IT after his BTech graduation from Amal Jyoti. He took his master's in software engineering from Concordia University in 2015. As lead front-end developer and full-stack developer, he has more than 5 years experience in JavaScript frameworks. He's an early adopter, evangelist, and esteemed community partner of the progressive framework Vue.js, to the extent that he organized a Vue.js developer conference in Toronto, and now working as a front-end manager in an e-learning startup, the Rumi Initiative. We hope that their sweet, bitter learning and working experience abroad may be helpful to the participants who seek opportunities there. I request all, now I hand over the session to Lalit and Gilson. Before that, I request all those who are using tethered internet connection from mobile device to ensure that the phone calls will not break your network connection. And at the end of the webinar, a link for entering the feedback will be provided in the chat. On submitting the feedback, participation e-certificate will be auto-generated. Okay, wish you all a fruitful session. Over to Lalit and Gilson.
Before we start this session, I would like to request Lalit and Gilson to please show your face so that the audience also could see you. Then we can start.
Yeah, we are here. Hello. Hi.
If you can stop sharing the screen and show your face, I mean, just a kind of introduction. Yeah.
All right. So this is me, Lalit.
I am Gilson. So yeah, I mean, so I think Zoom has an option to change the layout and then they can see the participant plus the screen share.
So is everyone comfortable with Malayalam, or should I stick to English?
Professionally, you can go in English, no problem.
Okay.
In between Malayalam also, that's fine.
Yeah. Let me know if everyone can see the screen.
Yeah.
Okay. So as Miss highlighted all our career progressions and things, like we were just normal students back in college, and so luckily or unluckily, so we are here now. So we are going to share our experience, like how we figured out the path to the graduate studies in Canada, like what our opportunities are available here, what are all the challenges, So we both did masters in software engineering. So we'll be mostly focusing on that part, like how the courses are structured, what specializations and stuff are available here, all those things. And this is going to be a really informal session. There's, at the end of the session, I guess you can ask us anything related to studies and higher studies. So I'm going to start the presentation. So just like a common, so there are like a lot of opportunities in Canada. So the reason why I came here is because of Gilson. Like he was the first among us to opt for a higher education, and he came here. So he used to always be passionate about like going for higher studies. He used to talk, I want to grow better, and he was always passionate and learning. And this feels like a glimpse of like he used to talk. So sticking on to the topic which he said, so in Canada, mostly you can opt for like 3 options. So the first one, which most of us opt for, would be like a course-based one. So you'll have to earn like 49 credits. So it consists of around 11 to 12 courses. And each of these courses would have like 3 or 4 as the grade points which you can score. So, and so at the end of your like 2-year graduate studies, you'll have to earn like 49 credits to get your master's. And there's also another stream which you can opt for called a co-op stream. So that combines some of the work experience which you can earn while you are doing your master's. So like for a term of 2 semesters at max, you can work for a company, and that you'll earn some credits, like 6 or 4 credits, depending on the duration. And so you don't have to take that many courses, which you can make it up while you work. So that's counted towards your graduate degree. And if you are somebody who is so passionate about one topic, or you want to learn about, say, machine learning or artificial intelligence, or distributed computing, so there's an option for like choosing a specific topic of computer science, and you can do a research, like write a paper or have a thesis published at the end of your graduate course. So that course would consist like that project would count towards like 29 degree. That's like majority of your graduate work, like what graduate credit which you have to earn. And so all these these 3 like different streams which I said, so mostly universities offer this kind of like varied option. So so these are the like the trending, or like recently these are what people opt for, like for their graduate. So computer science, so that would be mostly a theoretical part, like based on algorithms, or how you can more efficiently compute stuff with using less memory, such kind of things. Then software engineering, it would be more like on the process based, or like more on like how the industry works. And I mean, you'd be familiar with all these topics by now, I guess, or you can just look up what it means. So I just like listed what are all the options. So one of the highlights would be, so according to your specialization, you'll have say 4 or 5 core courses. So anyway, you'll have to take it within that 2 years, or you can opt for like so the other 8 or 9 courses you can choose up to your liking. Like if you want to do a bit of management studies, you can do that. Or if you even want to do you want to like learn credits on philosophy, you can do that. But it all depends, like there would be a course counselor which you have to talk to. So he would be the guiding person to like allow or not allow. It depends on like how much credits you have earned, or GPA you have earned so far also. And just like a snippet of computer science. Like you need to be really good at like data structure and algorithms, like how to efficiently process within like less timing, like the time complexity or the space complexity. Like just don't worry about all these like terms. It's I'm just putting it out there just so that you know, like final year students or third year students, it's a time for you to focus on these concepts. And like, so why Canada? So it's so supportive of like, it's an immigrant friend country, so there are a lot of opportunities for international students, and the professors are really supportive, and there will be a dedicated gang of people allotted to you, like a mentor or a peer supporter, and there will be organizations also, like here there's in our university there was an international students organization where like you can raise any kind of problems or like solutions, even if it's like your immigration related or like personal or healthcare related. So you can go up to them and say, okay, I have this problem, and there will be a person to remediate your issues. So one of the difference, so from what we learn in India or the curriculum, it's more on like assignment or project based. There are exams for sure, but so say in a semester, which consists of like 4 or 5 months, there will be like 3 assignments and a final project which you have to do, and each of them would have around like 20 or 30% weightage. So it's not just like 1 exam or 2 exams which decide your grade. You have to be like regularly and consistently working towards the course which you opt for. And it's not just individual contribution that matters. Everything will be like a group of like, say 2 to 4 people. And then there are options for you to work during your course as well. There will be courses just for like 2 days or 3 days per week. Other than that, but I mean, the work which you get at the end of the week for you to submit, it's not of less amount and effort, but still, like if you can manage your time well, you can work part-time. Like in universities, you can work like even 40 hours. And if it's out of an university job, you can work for like per week 20 hours. And as I already mentioned, the international like student, I mean, you have so many rights, and the departments which I mentioned works for your well-being and easy living conditions in and like Canada. So this one of the part which we worry, like, okay, so I want to go, like I have only this much amount, or how does the funding, or so for graduate studies, like so they know that it's on a time where you have to be on your own. It's not like I mean, parents of course support, but if we can do some part of it by like standing on our own legs, that's great. So how do we figure out like what are the challenges and opportunities there? So universities actually offer like wide variety of sources of income which you can opt for. These are some of the example which we tried, and we were like able to get some funding. So research assistantship. So if you opt for a like thesis based masters, then there would be like a funding from the department or the professor which you work under, called a research assistantship, which actually is enough for you to pay your rent and like pay your bills for, I mean, monthly. Then there are research labs. Even if you don't work for a thesis based course, you can work under other professors where they have some labs set up, and if you are good with coding or some analytical skill, you can opt for that. And there are like also internships and incubators. Not all universities, but most of them really have some startup incubators kind of thing where you can try for some part-time jobs. And teaching assistantship, if you are really good at some subject, you score a really good grade, then the next coming batch, you can approach the professor and try for a teaching assistantship, where you can basically assist the next batch of students in doing their assignments or doing their lab work kind of thing. And tuition waiver, as like so if you are really good at the department, then department might give you some scholarships to pay off your fees. You can even like be an invigilator for a subject which you don't currently study. So in other departments, you can be an exam invigilator. And there are like positions available in student unions, like a graduate, so like president or vice president, and there you'd be like regularly conducting meetings or meetups kind of thing. And as the second option, which I mentioned, the co-op one, so you work and you earn and you get some credits towards your degree. So this was the part where, so that's so far about the courses. So is IT a dying field? Like computer science is is it on demand or not? So I'm talking about the current situation. No, really no. So so just to say, like for the past ever since, you know, like the pandemic, there's a bit of restriction, but still like we have been working from home for the last 4 months. And this is a source which I took recently from a LinkedIn survey. So it's the computer science and IT field, it's like growing like anything. It's being applied to every other field. Like there's no field you can like not see where software is not being used. And soft skills are only increasing in value. So since this kind of remote working, you have to be really good at communication to get your work done, as well as like help your team members know that, okay, I have done this. So communication skills are really increasing in its value. So that's so far from my part. So the next part will be actually shared by Jilson. So I invite Jilson to like take over the presentation.
Can you see my screen?
I think it's not the right one.
Okay. Second.
Yes.
So I'm Jilson. Basically, I finished my IT BTech in 2008, 2012 actually. And thank you, Lalit, for a wonderful session on all the basic educational information that you gave us while for studying in Canada. But before going to the job section and where you can get a job and all the stuff, I just wanted to give a disclaimer that we are not part of any agency, or we are not any agency, and we are not sponsoring any of those agencies. So just wanted to give that information upfront, so there is no like misunderstanding or anything. So right after the, I mean, a lot of people have this question in their mind, what's after the studies, right? So basically, when people opt for higher studies in like foreign countries like US or Canada or Australia, New Zealand, they tend to look for better jobs, better salary, better working conditions, lifestyle and all this stuff. So this is exactly what we get in Canada too. Basically, right after the masters, or even while doing the masters, you can start looking for jobs. It's a bit different when we compare the job market in India versus any other foreign Western countries, especially US or Canada. When you compare the IT field in US and Canada. The US market was like on top of all the other countries, but recently the trend is changing. Right now, a lot of cities in Canada is becoming a tech blooming city, especially cities like Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal. These cities are really famous for all the good startups, and even tech giants are coming here and then making their headquarters and all the stuff here. So a lot of opportunities like career growth wise, and lot of opportunities are coming in these cities. I think it's mainly because since I mean, like Lalit mentioned, Canada is an immigrant country, so a lot of people are immigrating to Canada and then settling down here. So obviously tech companies have realized that there's a lot of potential for big brains and all this stuff. So they started focusing on like metropolitan cities like Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, and like big companies like Shopify, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and Deloitte, and those companies have started their headquarters here in these cities. So basically, they'll get more talents, and compared to US, the Canadian political situation is much better. It's stable, I would say. It gives all the workers, all the citizens, more rights, I guess, and freedom to choose what they want and all those stuff. I would say it's more stable. Politically, the situation is Canada is much better than US, and you don't have to worry about your like job status or work visa, work permit, and all those stuff. Obviously, I mean you have to get those things, but compared to US, I think it's more stable here. And if you look into the city of Silicon Valley versus Toronto, uh, I read a report like two weeks back saying that Toronto is becoming the next Silicon Valley. So that means there's a lot of opportunities coming in here. Like in the city of Toronto, we can see a lot of new startups, a lot of giant tech companies and all this stuff. So that means a lot of openings are coming through, and people are coming migrating to Canada, and then that's opening up a lot of opportunities for those people. So I just want to basically go through these process of how to get a job, or what to expect in Canadian job market. It's going to be a really quick session, but what we want to get is a lot of questions from you, so we can basically focus on those areas instead of just talk about something that doesn't make sense for a lot of people. So so right now these are the main job areas right now that's trending in Canada, or all over the world, I would say, basically in US and Canada. So artificial intelligence and machine learning is a big thing these days. A lot of companies, a lot of startups and big corporates, financial institutes, they're all going for AI or machine learning to serve their customers, because it's serving a lot of much better, like I guess those apps are much intelligent in terms of features, and then they can easily predict what the user wants based on the usage and give the right function, I guess. So this is becoming a blooming industry for a lot of people, and the pay is really high. People get paid insane amount of money for getting a job in artificial intelligence, machine learning, even like virtual reality and all those fields. And next thing is obviously DevOps and site reliability. Like every company and every application needs a backend server and all those kinds of things. So this is basically what we meant by developers. So people who handle or take care of all these things and then make sure that nothing is going wrong. And even if you're getting a high load of traffic, nothing is going down, you have this load balancer in place to make sure that everything is going smoothly. So this is a hot tech job as well. And on top of that, something that Lalit is working on is big data and data analyst. This is This is basically making like meaningful data out of a large collection of data that's available for you. So basically, let's say if you're browsing through Facebook or something like that, it's actually logging all the activities that you're doing in Facebook, or even within your laptop or across the browser. So Facebook can actually get a lot of meaningful data, but the data collection that they are storing is it's humongous, like billions of rows of data are there. So it's actually a tedious job to go through all the data and then find the meaningful insights or metrics out of that. So that's a hot topic or hot job for all the people. And then on top of that, cybersecurity and the traditional full stack web developer, Android application developers. So I mean, the mobile development field was always there since 2010, and it's not going to go anywhere. It's going to be there as long as mobile phones are existing. So more and more people or applications are mainly focused on phone devices like Android or iOS. Just like, for example, TikTok, it's more popular on mobile devices than desktop applications. So obviously, just because of that, all the companies wants to have their own versions of mobile apps. So they do hire a lot of mobile application developers as well. So just like Lalit mentioned, you don't have to worry about all these terms. Obviously, when you go into each particular like bullet points here, you can find many other fields or many other titles in terms of your responsibility for jobs. So every single day you can see new roles are coming up in every industry or every fields of technology. So it's just that, you know, it's different fancy words for the same thing, I would say. So but it's always good to see what's coming in and then try to read a lot of blogs or articles so you can keep yourself updated with that. So just like I mentioned, in Canada, the hottest cities for any developers are basically Toronto, Montreal, and Ottawa. A lot of big companies have started their like headquarters in Toronto, especially Shopify. I think it's in Ottawa. So they're operating out of these big cities mainly because of the talents, the human resources available here in this country. So a lot of working professionals are here, and they're getting quality education. The Canadian government is supporting all the good education by providing free education for citizen or permanent resident holders. So that's actually eventually opening up to new job opportunities for these people. So companies are opening up a lot of jobs, and then people are getting hired. I think even through this COVID situation, even though we are not going to offices these days, things are going smoothly in the IT industry, just because everything can be online and people are working from home, and they can just use any like communication applications like Slack or Microsoft Teams, and everything is going smoothly in that sense. And one thing that I want to point out is that when we compare a work-life balance in countries like India and other Western countries, it's much better here, I would say. It's mainly because it's not like a 9 to 5 hour job where you have to be on the office, and then if there is some extra work, then you have to sit back and then finish that work the same day. It's not like that here. I mean, at least for the companies that I work with, maybe there are companies, but most of the companies tend to give the flexibility to the developers, so they feel welcomed or they feel part of the company. So so they have that flexibility, so they can come at any time in the morning up to 10 o'clock, let's say. So some people start at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and then finish their work after 8 hours, and then they go home and they forget about work. So after once you're back home, you don't think about work at all, and you are on your personal space, and then you're thinking about your family or any other social activities or anything that you have. So in that sense, I would say here in Canada, it's a good work-life balance that we have here. Along with the healthcare system, it's obviously free. So if you have a work permit or study permit, or if you're a permanent resident or a Canadian citizen, the healthcare is free, so you don't have to pay anything for that actually. So how do you get a job here in Canada? That's actually an interesting question. So there's a lot of process that's happening in between applying to a job and getting an offer letter. So just like any other country, you will obviously have to go through the recruitment process, which will be applying to a job and then getting selected for the interview, and then go through the interview process and then getting the job offer and all. One important thing to mention here or note here is that there's no campus placement here. So even if you're studying in a university or well-known university or in any other colleges, chances are there won't be any campus placements. There might be like trade shows or career fairs, but it's not like what we had in Amal Jyoti, where companies would come and then conduct interviews and get some candidates or give some job offer. But you have to constantly try and get as many interviews as possible. So you have to constantly look out where the jobs are opening, and you have to keep your networks open, just so you know where the opportunities are, at least for your industry or your field. So you have to have a really nice resume for that. So if you find any seniors or anybody that's any alumni, any seniors that have finished their studies from that particular university or college that you're planning to go to, or in that particular city, if there's somebody is working, then it's always best to contact them and then try to get some an idea about or share your resume with them, and so they can guide you through the right path. So there might be different like criterias or like different style for writing a resume for different types of jobs. So it might be an interesting thing to contact those people and then get an idea about your resume from them. So once you have the interview, there is obviously a background check. So they'll ask you, they'll contact all the references that you have given in the interview, and then they'll do a lot of background checks and all that stuff. I think it's mainly based on the companies that you're applying. So if you're applying for a big company, which cares their security a lot, so they'll obviously check for the new hires background checks. But if you're working from some startups and things like that, then there won't be any background checks. And just like I mentioned, it's always important to have a lot of connections once you are here. So if you find somebody's working in a company or in a startup that might be in your field, try to be in touch with them. So once you're done with your master's or once you're done with studies, you can get a referral from them for an interview in that company, because it's really hard to get an interview letter without a referral these days, because if somebody's working that company and then that person knows you, then chances are you'll get an interview call compared to applying to a random company without knowing anybody in that company. So networking is a key. So obviously try to be like make sure that you have a right network of friends, or reach out to those people who have enough network connections or connections in that company. I already talked about this, I guess, and this is basically all the perks or all the benefits of working for a company here in Canada, or I would say in any other country or any other Western country. So on top of all the salary and everything, then you get extra healthcare protections and all the stuff, and minimum of 20. I think here in Canada, the minimum paid vacation is 2 weeks. So every company has to legally give you 2 weeks paid vacation, but it ranges from 2 to 4 weeks. Some companies give 4 weeks, some companies to give 2 or 3 weeks, but 2 weeks is guaranteed. And on top of that, there'll be sick leaves. So if you don't feel like working, or if you're sick, then you can obviously call for a sick day, and that's also covered. But some companies, they offer unlimited vacations. It's like you can take as many vacations as you want, and they don't care about your vacations. It's just that at the end of the day, you have to finish the work, and that's all. It's basically a trust process, I guess. So you basically trust your manager, the manager trust your work, and they don't every single minute or every hour, they're not going to ping you asking about the output of your work. So if you have a really good connection with your manager, everything is going to go smoothly. Like you just have to finish the work, and then everything will be easy from there onwards. And right now, you obviously have an option to work from home. I think me and Lal, we've been working from home for the last 5 months, mainly because of COVID. I think it's the same in every other country. But even before that, working from home was an option. So you don't necessarily have to go to the office. You can just say that, hey, I'm today I don't feel like going to the office. I can just work from home, especially if it's a snowy day or a snowstorm is coming. You can just Slack or send an email that you're not feeling you don't have to commute, so you can just work from home. Yeah, so I think I've done a lot of talking. So you might be interested to know what to do next, right? So Lal, do you want to talk about that?
Okay. So yeah, so like right now, like as you guys are like either planning for a master's, or like you might be just starting out your courses. So like you don't have to necessarily just learn from the course curriculum. There are like, I mean, abundant of resources right now out. Like if you have an internet connection, you can learn pretty much everything you want to learn. So I have just listed some of like famous multiple online courses websites here. You might be already familiar. So like there are free courses available there just to check like what's like a data science, or like it would be a basic introduction to Git or GitHub, how to get involved with like open source projects, like, or even like how can I just push a repository of mine to GitHub. So just like be curious, like make use of these sites which is out there. I think a lot of people like are taking courses online, and their like Coursera has an association with Amal Jodi. I think right now like you can opt out for courses, so just don't waste that. If you get some like free time, like right now you're all go home like at home, so yeah, just make use of time just to build some skills. And just not like I mean, if you are going for like a really like you want to get into a really good company, you definitely have to have the skills for a problem solving. Like the interviews are not just like, you are not going to be asked like how does a hash map work, or like how to create a class or an object. They'll be giving you a vague idea, and you'll have to come up with a pretty much optimal solution on like with the logic and like how to solve that. So these are some of the websites which you can check for like problem to just to develop your problem solving skills. Lead Code, Geek for Geeks, CodeChef, and Topcoder are like some competitive coding sites, and Code Wars, so you can just start out. And so as Midnamis had mentioned, like Gilson is really pretty much involved with the Vue.js framework. If I don't know if you guys all know, but it's like one of the trending JavaScript frameworks, and it's fully open source. So I mean, so it's a community of developers coming together to have some idea realized, and anybody can contribute. So that's the beauty of it. You don't necessarily have to be a really like 10-year experience or 15-year experienced developer, even if it's just a small change in the documentation. And if you do it right, you can be a contributor and you can add it to your resume. So yeah, I mean, Chilson would be the best person to talk about it, but I have listed out some of the like open source projects or like contests out there. If you don't know, you can just sign up for. Google conducts every summer, around this time of March, I think. So those who are in right now in like second year or third year or even fourth year, you guys can try. So basically, you will be assigned to a project, and there will be a mentor who will help you with all the tasks and whatever doubts you come up with. So if you get selected, you can work for like 4 months on a project, and that's a really that will be a really good learning experience for you. And then every October, there's something called as a Hacktoberfest. So it's just to encourage people. I mean, even all the open source contributors. So within the time frame of 1 month, if you do like 3 pull requests to an open source repository, you'll be getting a really good swag of a t-shirt, which is sponsored by GitHub as well as DigitalOcean. So yeah, you can do that. Or then there's like Swatantra Malayalam Computing. അത് മലയാളത്തിൽ പറയാം. അതെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാല് നമ്മുടെ മലയാളം കമ്പ്യൂട്ടറിലേക്ക്, സോ എല്ലാം ഇംഗ്ലീഷിലാണല്ലോ, ലൈക്ക് ഓപ്പറേറ്റിംഗ് സിസ്റ്റം ഇംഗ്ലീഷിലാണ്, ഡോക്യുമെന്റേഷൻ ഇംഗ്ലീഷിലാണ്. അങ്ങനെ അപ്പോ മലയാളം മരിക്കുന്നു എന്നുള്ള ഒരു അതൊരു സത്യമായത് കൊണ്ട് നമ്മുടെ കൂട്ടത്തിലുള്ള ഡെവലപ്പേഴ്സ് തന്നെ തുടങ്ങിയ ഒരു സംരംഭമാണ് സ്വതന്ത്ര മലയാളം കമ്പ്യൂട്ടിംഗ്. നിങ്ങൾ ജസ്റ്റ് ഗൂഗിളിൽ സെർച്ച് ചെയ്താൽ കാണാം. ഒത്തിരി പരിപാടികൾ അവർ ഓർഗനൈസ് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. ഒത്തിരി ഫോണ്ടുകൾ ലൈക്ക് മഞ്ചരി, അങ്ങനെ നമ്മൾ കാണുന്ന ടൈപ്പ് സെറ്റിംഗ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള മലയാളം ഫോണ്ടുകൾ, പിന്നെ ഇംഗ്ലീഷ് ടു മലയാളം ഡിക്ഷണറി, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ മലയാളം വായിക്കാൻ അറിയത്തില്ലാത്തവർക്ക് ജസ്റ്റ് കോപ്പി പേസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്താൽ എഴുതിയ സാധനം മംഗ്ലീഷിൽ കാണിക്കുന്ന അങ്ങനത്തെ സൈറ്റുകൾ, അങ്ങനെ ഒത്തിരി പ്രോജക്ട്സ് അവര് നടത്തുന്നുണ്ട്. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ജസ്റ്റ് നോക്കിയാൽ കാണാം. പിന്നെ ഹാക്കത്തോൺസ്, ഇപ്പോ ഞങ്ങൾ പഠിച്ചിരുന്ന സമയത്തൊന്നും അത്ര അക്സസിബിൾ ആയിരുന്നില്ല. പക്ഷെ ഇപ്പോ നിങ്ങളുടെ അടുത്തുള്ള കോളേജുകൾ ഈവൻ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് തന്നെ നടത്താവുന്നതാണ് ഹാക്കത്തോൺസ്. അതായത് ഒരു ചെറിയ കോൺടെസ്റ്റ് പോലെ ഒരു തീം കാണും, നിങ്ങൾ 4 or 5 പേരുള്ള ഗ്രൂപ്പായിട്ട് വന്നിട്ട് ആ ഐഡിയ റിയലൈസ് ചെയ്യാനായിട്ട് മേ ബി ഒരു I mean 24 hours or maybe 48 hours at max. So you'll be all working on some interesting projects. Yeah, so I'll just give it back to Jalsan.
Okay, so thanks, Lalit. So obviously we have gone through the studies and then the things to get a job, actually land a job letter here. So I mean, we have only said all the good things about Canada, but obviously there's a lot of demerits or consequences to that as well. But I mean, it's not actually and not a concerning factor, but you just have to make sure that things are working well or aligning well along with all the things that you're doing in Canada. So just have to make sure that if you're working, so if you're taking an online job, sorry, if you're studying in a university or a college, then you have to make sure that you have enough, you're financially sounding well. So you might have to go and find some part-time jobs, or you might have to work on campus, which is the best. We would say even Lalit and I, we worked in Concordia University. So compared to all the other jobs that you can find, I would say try to find an on-campus job, which is only going to help you in terms of finding the next job or next real job, I would say. So it's also always good to have a connection with the professor or anyone that's from that particular like department. So that person can actually give an option or give a referral for you to land a job. So try to have those connections, and then try to have part-time jobs if you don't find anything on campus. So basically you can work 20 hours off campus and 40 hours on campus per week. But if it's a summer hours, I guess you can work 40 hours every day, every week. And you'll obviously have a lot of homesickness, and you might miss your parents, family, friends, but obviously you'll have new friends and family here here in Canada. So that's a good thing in a way. So try to be prepared for that cultural shock, or even language barriers. So we obviously speak in Malayalam back in Kerala, and then once you're here, then you might have to speak in English, or in some situations you might have to speak French, which is the case in Montreal. But I don't think for part-time jobs you have to. But like in Canada, Quebec, which is a state that's Montreal is bilingual. It speaks French and English, and French is the first language for them. So depending on the province or depending on the state you are in, so you might have to be prepared to learn new languages. But basically, it's just you can just get away with the English most of the times. And the weather, obviously, I think a lot of people know about the Canadian weather. It can range from plus 40 degree, which is happening right now. Like sometimes there are heat waves here. So during summertime, the highest temperature can be at around 35. With humidity, it can go up to 40-45. And during the winter times, January, February, I guess it can go up to minus 40-45 with wind chill. So you just have to make sure that you're all ready to accept all those conditions. And then if you are willing to accept, then obviously you can go for a skiing and then go have some fun, but obviously enjoy Canada as such, and then get all the perks and all the good things that Canada can offer you in terms of education, in terms of work, and in terms of a good life, I guess. So that's it. So if you have any questions, we would definitely love to take those questions and then answer those questions. Back to you, Dramis or Shisa.
Participants, if you have any queries, you can unmute and you can ask.
Perhaps you can post your queries in the chat box also.
Currently, I have shared the feedback form. Participants just fill the form and certificate will be generated. In chat, I have shared.
Dear participants, if you have any queries, you can definitely post here, or you may ask directly by unmuting yourself.
So I think I've seen one question from Sandra on the chat. So basically the question is for a job, which one would you be better, taking a master's degree or diploma course from Canada? So it's basically depends. So if you have taken a Bachelor of Information Technology or such kind of courses from Kerala, it's obviously much better to go for a higher education than a diploma courses. So because it's the same as what you have done here. It's a degree course, or sometimes it's advanced diploma courses. But if you want to have that higher education and to have that quality in education, we would prefer that you go for universities or like master's degrees. Colleges, I don't think colleges offer master's courses, so only universities does that. So it's important to go for I mean, in our opinion, it was good for us that we went for university and opted for master's degree. It helped us to get better jobs. Also, it also depends on which kind of job you want. So some startups, they don't actually look for your job, like educational credentials. So they just know, they just check whether you know the technology that they are trying to implement, or if you have the relevant experience. So it's actually depending on where you want to work and what do you want to do in Canada. Some people come to Canada just to get PR and then get settled here. So for them, they always go for colleges because it's easier there. That's what they think, but it's the same. Like universities and colleges are the same. But we would say always try to go for university degrees, because it's only going to help in the long run. It might be easy to get to give you a study permit or study visa to Canada if you go for colleges, but for future run, I guess it's always best for universities.
There are a few other questions also, you may answer.
Yeah. So there's one question from maybe Lalt can answer that. Is there any opportunity for PhD holders in Canada? So I think Lalt was looking for all those kinds of things because he was planning to get a PhD done from Concordia. So he might, he can answer that, I guess.
Sorry, let me check. Where was the question?
No, it's actually a private message that's sent to me.
I mean, what was the question again? Sorry.
Is there any opportunity for PhD holders in Canada?
I mean, definitely. So you can opt for postdoc positions. There are a lot of universities which post opportunities for postdoc researchers. You don't necessarily have to have a PhD from Canada. So definitely try out for universities like University of Montreal, McGill, even Concordia, or University of Waterloo. I mean, so it depends on the field which you chose the PhD for. So yeah, definitely, it's not a concern to have a PhD from Canada just to get a postdoctoral position.
Okay, and
Few more questions, what all programming language do we have to study for jobs in Canada? What all programming language do we have to study for jobs in Canada?
So as I mentioned on the first slide, depending on the field of depending on the field, the programming language might change. So you have to know what kind of field you want to work on. For example, if you want to work on DevOps, or you want to work on the web development, or front end or back end, or like those kind of things. So, but basically, I can say there is not a lot of companies that uses Java and C++ these days, but most of the startups are using cutting edge technologies, because as we know, the technologies are changing every single day. So most of the companies are opting for newer technologies. So I guess in terms of front end, the React, Angular, Vue.js, but for backend scripting languages, Python is a hot topic. That is what Lalt is working on right now. But definitely look for Python. PHP is there, and Ruby on Rails. Those are the hot languages here in most of the companies. And there are a lot of companies that uses Microsoft products. So those companies go for .NET or C#, those kind of languages. And
yeah, just to add, yeah. So you don't necessarily have to be proficient on one language. So I mean, it's just a syntax. It's just a Google away or Stackflow away. So I would say get your basics right. You can just switch to any language in a span of 2 weeks, I would say. So So there's object-oriented paradigm, then there's the functional programming. So just to get that, like, try out different things, Java, Python, Go, all those uses the same concept behind, like classes or objects. So it's not necessarily being good at so many languages. It's just a matter of getting your basic right. So I would say don't worry much about the language, but understand the concepts behind better so that you can just switch to any language.
A question about online certifications of or degrees like Coursera, whether it is valid or not there. Online certifications
yeah.
or degrees in Coursera.
So like the real fact is, like, even degrees, they don't care, most of the company. But I mean, other than like the multinational companies where they have strict regulations, like, okay, you have to be but it's changing. Even like Google doesn't need any kind of degree for you now. So they just check if you have the skills or like the passion to learn, and you have the ability to like get the stuff done which they are saying you. Definitely like Coursera and stuff, it just shows you like, okay, you care about what you want. You are a constant learner. So I wouldn't say like just because you have a certification you will get a job, but it's a plus, it's a added weightage. So don't miss out on that. It makes your resume better.
Yeah, I mean, just like Lala mentioned, a lot of companies that they want people who wants to learn constantly, who is willing to adopt new technologies. So I think it's a good way of showing them that you're willing to learn new technologies by taking online courses and all those things. So even if you're working for a company or if you're looking for new jobs, so sometimes when you take online courses, it shows that you are constantly learning or you're willing to adopt a new technology. So so for a lot of companies, it's a added advantage. So they tend to like promote those kind of things or give you like financial support for taking online courses. It's just for having that added feature, or just for showing that you are constantly learning. So because every day it's changing. So it's a good way, because mainly right now a lot of people are doing online courses because you are staying home, and since due to the COVID, you have the resources available online everywhere, so you can take as many courses as you want and then finish or learn new technologies every single day.
There is one question from Jomia, which is regarding the express entry visa and PR. Would you like to briefly explain how it is possible?
Yeah, sure. I mean, right, express entry is the easiest way to get a Canadian PR, I would say. But the situation is different right now, mainly because of the COVID. But I would say if you have a good experience in Canada, in the IT industry, anywhere in the world, and if you have a good IELTS score, then then you might have enough points to get into the express entry pool, and then from there you get invitation to apply for the permanent residency. But I would say if you have 2-3 years of experience, then you can definitely get into the invitation pool, and then basically go from there. I mean, since I mentioned that we are not an agency, we don't want to like talk too much about that, because that deviates from our topic, I guess. I don't know.
What are the job opportunities for a MTech graduate? Job opportunities for MTech graduate.
I mean, so it's the same, like you don't get a bonus for having a master's or a bachelor's here. So it's the same as like if you have like some experience, or you'll be considered as an experienced hire, or if you have like you are fresh out of MTech, then you'll be considered as if like a graduate level hire. So I mean, if you have a specialization in MTech in a particular topic, like say big data or like distributed processing, definitely you will be standing out. And if you have done like a really good project, then your chances are high. Yeah, that's about it, I think.
whether the opportunities are same for CS and mechanical graduates, or whether it is higher for CS.
I mean,
Yeah, I think.
so yeah, if it's about the job right now, the job market right now, it just depends on like the skills you have. Like, but say like if there are like 4 CS applicants and 1 mechanical student who has really like gone out of his path and shown some passion towards CS degree, definitely you'll get a call. Otherwise, it's a bit lenient towards CS, I would say.
Yeah, a lot of opportunities for IT CSs compared to any other stream here, I guess.
So another question, most colleges now are starting online classes due to COVID situation. Is it good to take that, or is it better to take classroom training? Will it decrease our chance to get PR if we choose online mode?
So I think Government of Canada has issued a press release, and they even written an article about that. So if you're planning to get a master's degree or any other college degrees from Canada and applied for a study permit, but due to the COVID, you cannot travel from your home country to Canada. So they have created a new permit that's like you can stay in your home country and do online courses, and it doesn't affect your eligibility to get the PR. It still counts towards your work permit application. So up to a period of 6 months, I guess. So let's say if your studies are, or if your semester is starting in September and you cannot travel due to COVID, you can still continue studying from home and enroll into the online courses for up to a 6 month. I'm not sure if it's 6 months, but definitely you can continue from wherever you are. Like even if you are from India or let's say any other country, you can still continue and enroll into an online courses, and that will be counted towards your like work permit or even PR. So yeah, I mean right now it doesn't affect your eligibility.
Okay, is it possible to apply for a job in Canada if we have a 2 to 3+ years experience in an IT industry, or we should have MS or another degree from Canada?
So I mean, like we mentioned in all the other questions, it doesn't matter if you have a degree from Canada or not. What all the companies prefer is to have some experience on the job description, on the job that you're going to do. But obviously, something that's we want to point out is that there is something called Canadian experience. So a lot of companies prefer, even if you have experience in India, let's say you work for a like IT company there in India for like 3-4 years. Some companies, they say we still want people to have Canadian experience because for some reason they think it's different here. But so some companies, they want to have some Canadian experience on top of the like foreign country experiences. But definitely there are a lot of companies who takes these experience from other countries into consideration. So I would say an opening job into or entry level job into IT here in Canada would be testing, because I have seen a lot of people who are who are recent immigrants from other countries, even if they are in different streams, let's say civil engineering or mechanical engineering, they'll go and study testing in some other agency, uh, study it for like 6 months and then try to get a job in testing, and then from there they'll try to shift their focus on different area, because I guess compared to development, testing would be easier to learn and get into a position easily.
Yeah, and just to add to that, like you don't necessarily have to be in Canada to apply right now. Like most of the companies are going remote, so they don't consider the barrier of like a country border or anything. Like can definitely check out, I mean, job boards like Angel List, which has a good, like a really a good amount of jobs from startups where you can work remote. And there are also companies like GitLab, Auth0, even Shopify. So these are all companies which went fully remote right now. So they don't necessarily care about where you are as long as you prove that you have the right skills.
Yeah. Also, one thing that I want to point out is that it's always good to have that professional social networking active throughout your professional career. It's because you might get a lot of offer letter or invitation for interview through LinkedIn or AngelList, just like Lalit mentioned. My last job I got through AngelList, so it's always good to keep your profile updated on LinkedIn and then AngelList. So you wouldn't know which stream is going to help you. So try to have a lot of connections and referrals, and keep those like social networks, professional social networks active. It's gonna help you.
Any more questions? Any more questions? Requirements to join for masters in Canada.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I guess it depends. Yeah, maybe Lalti, you can take that.
I mean, so right now it's really the competition is getting higher. I have seen like people with good experience are also getting rejected because there's a like really high number of competitive applicants. But so as I mentioned, like if you are in your second or third year, really start working on like small personal projects, keep learning, like really have something to back up your claims. So if you are trying to go out right after you graduate out of bachelor's, or I would say it's better if you get like some experience in the IT industry, because for me personally, like I learned most of the stuff while I got into the job. The theoretical part and like the programming part, it was just on like my own ideas which I implemented. But when you go to an industry, it's totally different. You have to stick to the coding conventions. You have to maintain the style, and so it really makes a difference. Like it's not just like getting your stuff done. It's also like you need to know like how to be a team player. Even if you are like a really good developer, but you don't communicate well, then that team is not going to function well. So all these skills you learn at a real job. So I mean, it's up to you to choose. Okay, if you want to go right away, then you need to really work hard to have that like standing out application. Or you can go for a job, get some experience, and then you'll be like get an idea. Okay, so DevOps is something which I'm passionate about. So I would like to have my specialization, like masters, based on that field. Or okay, data analytics or data science is something which is of real interest to me. So I'll opt for courses in that stream. So yeah, that's my take.
Yeah, just to add to that, if you need a checklist of what to have for applying for masters, is basically you need to have good CPA, good percentage on the degree. It depends on the university or college you want to go to. Plus, you need to have IELTS score. It also depends on the college that the university that you wants to go. Some universities they require only 6.5 overall. Some universities they have high standards, so they say they want 7 at least. And after that you might need some SOP, statement of purpose, and those kind of things. But here in Canada, one thing that I notice is a lot of foreigners are going for master's degree only after working for a company, like after 10 years or something like that. So you might find yourself studying with like a lot of old age people, or like people in their 40s or 50s, and people from their 20s. So it depends on their career, if that job requires you to have a master's degree, then at that point of time they decide to go for master's degree. But yeah.
Obtaining a degree in artificial intelligence in foreign
Sorry?
countries like obtaining a degree in artificial intelligence. How to obtain a degree in artificial intelligence in foreign countries like America and to get a job of the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Go ahead.
so it's a really like competitive field. So if you really want to like get into good universities, you need to have to prove like you have some research experience. I would say like try for like internships under some professors, like apart from your normal course curriculum. If you have some idea, or you reach out to professors in your department or other departments, and try to publish a paper, or try to work on a real like natural language processing or computer vision project. So I mean, if you really want to like get into a field of artificial intelligence, you really need to start working, building your profile, start with pet projects, take courses from Coursera, reach out to people. Like there will be study guides in GitHub, or follow like the real big personalities like Jan LeCun or Geoffrey Hinton, all those people, and like try to get updated on the recent happenings. So just start your game on.
How long does it usually take to go from a student to a working professional?
Yeah, so it depends on the course that you're taking. So if you're taking a master's degree, that is basically the time to finish a master's degree is 2 years, but it can go up to 4 years depending on your performance or your like working conditions. For example, if you don't have the option to go to the university like every semester, you can obviously prolong that. So it goes to 3 years or 4 years. But definitely you have to finish it in 4 years, I guess. So the minimum that you can take, the minimum time that you can take to finish a master's degree is 1.5 years, I guess. So let's say if you're taking a master's degree and going for a job right after that, then I would say 1.5 years. But like I said before, you can still find a co-op opportunity or an internship in some other company and start working from home, working for those companies, even if you're not getting paid by that company. Because the important thing to have here is to have that connection in that company, so you can land a real job right after your graduation. So sometimes it's really hard to even get an internship. So people say if that internship position is not paid, some people might not get that. They're like, I might get some paid position, but the important thing to notice is that it's always the hardest part to get into a job or a company is the initial job. So if you have that like that internship position, even if that's a non-paid job, then try to get into that internship and try to have a good connection with your manager or your colleagues, or anybody that's in your like managerial level. So and try to work hard so they can refer you for future roles. So even if you're getting into a position that's not relevant to your current fields of expertise or current education, try to stick onto that position, because you might because there might be chances for you to grow within that company. So you can just go to start from a level 0 position, and then right after that particular period of time, then you can shift to the right field that you want to have.
Lalit and Jilson, I think it will be better if you share some of the community share the links of or some information about the communities you are working in. Like Jilson is working in Vue.js.
Yeah.
Some communities or
Yeah.
forums you are associated with.
Yeah, sure. Right now I'm working with an open source community called Vue.js. It's basically a JavaScript JavaScript framework, just like React or Angular. It's a blooming framework, so a lot of opportunities are coming. A lot of big companies are adopting Vue.js. I think we have one person in our college, like in Amal Jyoti, he's third year or fourth year, I guess. So he is basically into open source and all those things. So try to speak to him. I'll try to get all his contact information on the chat. So you can try to get in touch with him and try to be active on open source. That's how you learn a lot. So one good way of try to improve your coding is by reading other people's code. So since most of the companies, they try to keep their coding or code base, code repo private, the best way for you to go and learn from other people is to go for open source projects. So I would say just go and like read those codes, and then that's going to improve your coding, and you can even contribute to that. Then you can create a reputation for yourself within the open source community, and then that's going to help you to get a real job in any country, any company that you want. So basically, I am involved with the Vue.js community, and I've done a conference here, one in 2018 and one in 2019, and we were planning for another one this year, but due to the COVID, we might make it an online event. But yeah, I mean, that's my involvement with the open source communities right now with Vue.js community.
Yeah, I think we can wind up now.
Okay, I think there are no more questions popping up. So shall we wind up? So it's basically a great day for us actually, and for you it's midnight over time to actually sleep. I'm really happy, Jilson and Lalit, being with us, sharing your experience and a lot of information regarding the scope and future opportunities in Canada. That's a great moment. I would like to thank our principal, Dr. Z.V. Lakaparambul sir, giving us permissions to conduct such webinars. More series on the way this week. Similarly, I would like to thank the AES support system of our college supporting us in the best way, accommodating a lot of people at a single time to be online and getting feed with all this kind of knowledge and learnings. At the end, I would like to thank the faculty members of the Department of IIT, connecting with the resource people and updating and finally making them on for the audience. Also the audience, the number of participants, I feel that there were around 150 plus. So I hope this was a very informative sessions for all of them. And it is going to work for them also. So once again, thanking Mr. Lalit and Mr. Jilson for a great session for us, for the community. Hope this will definitely benefit each one of them in future endeavors. Thank you so much joining us. Thank you very much, Lalit and Jilson, once again. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. Yeah.
If you have any questions, you can always reach out to us. So I mean, yeah.
If you can share your email ID, that will be good.
Yes,
Sometimes
Sure, we'll
actually
share. Yeah, we'll share.
Get to you directly. This will be great for them also. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, participants can note down the email IDs popped up in the chat window. You may get to them directly, and it will be a privilege for them actually to answer your queries.
It's 2 a.m. no? Around 2 a.m.
Oh, it's 1
Around 1 a.m. Yeah.
1 a.m. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being with us actually.
No problem. No problem.
It's a midnight actually. So Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
thank you, sir. Thank you, Miss.
Okay.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you, Jilson. Thank you, Lalit. Thank you, participants. Thank you.
Thank you all.